Hello all, good morning. Thanks for giving time in this seminar. So today we are going to discuss about ASP.NET caching. So the basic agenda would be like what are the basics for ASP.NET, types of caching like output caching and the application caching. I'll be explaining those things in the details, and there is something called System.runtime.caching which came with the 4.0 that I would be explaining, and custom cache provider, how we can take advantage of custom cache providers, and some other caching techniques, how we can improve our caching, and the final would be the caching consideration, which caching we need to use where. Okay. So it's just a basic about ASP.NET caching. It says caching is a technique to save frequently used data in some temporary location. So there is something like if let's say if you are accessing some page which is taking more than 5 seconds or something, so that would be cached, and every time user will be make a request, it will get from temporary location. So that will make it faster. Okay. So other point is like application performance, how the application performance will be enhanced. Like whenever the page will be cached, it will be saved in a memory or some temporary location, and what will happen is whenever again, like on the peak time, let's say thousands of users are accessing that same page, so what will happen, like in normal cases what it does is like the page will go through various life cycles, so it will skip all those life cycle and get directly the contents there. So this will increase the performance. So it says reduce the lot of server resources also, like I have explained, and the types of caching, that is output caching, and under that it comes as a full page caching and partial caching. Full page caching is something like the whole page content will be cached in memory or some temporary location, and partial is like some part of the page will be saved in the memory. So other thing is application or object caching. In that, if let's say some object you have created and it is taking much more time there, so you can save some object to the memory. Okay. So let's start with the output caching. Like I have told, the whole rendered HTML will be saved in temporary location to make it faster. So let's see the example. So in this, basically what I have done is in this form one I have put system.datetime.now, so it will get datetime from server, and on this one it will get the datetime from the client side. So we will make a differentiation between what is cached and what is not cached. Okay. So I am intentionally making it to some sleep so that it will take some time to load up. So in this demonstration what I have done is, according to the different section I have classified as 1, 2, 3. So I will be just going through it one by one. Okay, let's see output caching. See, in this situation, it got some exception due to some custom caching provider. So what I have done is I made it sleep. So now let's see. Now it's taking time, and let's see for the second request. Seems like my system is itself slow. It's taking time to load up, and it's deleting the cache, expiring the cache. So if we see now, this is the server time which we have got is 11:40:29, and this is the client which is making request every time from the client side. So what's happening is the page is getting the whole page is getting cached, but our client code is executing every time. Okay, so let's modify something and see what's happening. See, so output cache is the we have to use for enable the caching, and the duration is it visible to all in the back side? Okay, so duration I have put as 10 seconds. So this accepts in the second, so I put 20 seconds over here, and the other mandatory parameter is vary by param. What it does is it over here I have put as a none. So what will happen is if we specify none, then the whole page will be cached in as a single only. It won't be having the multiple version. I will be demonstrating what I am saying. Maybe you all get confusing with that. So vary by param, none means it will make a single instance for the whole page. Okay, so let's change something, like in the blog or something or news feed we have something page index and page size. Like in the query string we provide page index, like what is the index of page and what would be the page size, right? So let's say it's taking bit of time to load all this data. So what we will do is, according to page size and page index, we will cache the items. Okay, let's see. So in this example, what I am doing, I am opening a new tabs over here, and I will be providing page index and page size. Let's make this one little larger so that it won't be expired. Okay, 80 means 80 seconds. I am building it. So see, what will happen is, take a look on the timing. It's 20, and over here we are having 11:43:34. So this is having multiple copy. As I previously said, that is one thing we are having is none. So it was making a single instance. So by making this one vary by param to the multiple one, we are saying ASP.NET to cache the items according to the page index and page size. So now it will depend upon these two query strings. So let's open another tab, and in that we will change some value in it. So see now, now we are getting the latest copy, like it is caching for the first time. So we are having 3 different copies of the same page. It got expired, so this is getting the fresh one. Okay. So we are having 3 different copies. Just take a look on the this server time. Okay, clear? So by using this vary by param and by providing the values in it, like I have split it, I want to have 2 there, so I have splitted it with the semicolon. So if you are having more attributes, more query strings there, then you can put it over here. Okay. Yeah.
So if you copy the previous URL to the next tab and paste it there, it will show the same time there.
Yes.
Can you check that?
Yes. Like on this one, it's getting a 4540. Okay. So I'm opening with some other browser. So that is kind of application level something, like if you cache something, so it will be globally available. It's not depend upon the user. So caching will be, if we are saving something, it will be available to all users. So see, the time is matched. So that is the advantage that we get from caching. So just have a scenario like at this moment, thousands of our users are accessing to this page. So how much resource we will be saving, right? So there are a couple of more attributes in this output cache, like duration that I have explained, time duration in seconds, vary by param, like we can have a query string there, vary by control. Let's say we are having some user control, I mean some controls like drop down list or a radio button list. So it will depend upon the what user has choose. So it will have a different copies according to whatever user have choose. So vary by header, like user agent, we can check through user agent, it will create different copies of the page. Vary by custom, that I will be explaining. This this vary by param is the most important one, and it is a mandatory field. And this vary by custom, I will be giving you the example, and vary by control also. So there is vary by encoding, content encoding also, like text, I have given example as a text plain, text HTML, text XML it could be. So it will depend upon this vary by content encoding. The other attribute that we are having is this one, location, and in this one we are having different values there. So what it does is, like if where we want to save, so that is the location. So what it does is, like we are having server, downstream, client, any, none. So on the server, obviously it is going to save on the server. Downstream, if you are having the proxy servers, like 2-3 proxy server or single proxy server, it will be cached on that one. So if second request will be made, and it will the machine which is using that proxy server, it will get it from there itself. The other one is client, directly on the client it would be saved. Any, it is by default, it will choose any of them and save it means whatever the means it will be detected by ASP.NET itself, and the other is none. So if you put none, it won't work. So let's look in the vary by custom. So this vary by custom, what I have done, you can implement any logic in there to get the item cached. So in this one, what I have done is, let's say I have a website, and in that we are having the various we are supporting various languages. So what I need is like on the different language, it will have a different cache items. So in this same thing, what I have done is, if you see this one ZB, okay, so other US, India, is this URL is visible to all? Okay. So see what is happening is, like I have opened in different tabs with different values, like this one is containing ZB, US, and the other one is India. So what had happened is, when I have opened it, it is having different cache. So if we see the time, this cached on 11:50, and this one 11:50:25 and 11:50:26. So all are having different values. So in same way, if we open this one in some other browser, what we will get is, so the thing is, it get expired. So what will happen is, this we have got 11:51:28. So now if I open this one, refresh this one, so it will get the same value. Okay, so it depends upon the expiration also, how much duration you are giving. So how I have implemented it, let's see in the code. What is the page? See, I am doing it through URL routing. So what I have did is, I have provided some pattern to match that URL, and the other thing is, by default it's having India, and the other we are having, it will allow only India, US and GB. So this is a different part from caching. So I for making it custom, I have did this. So how we are handling those values? If we go in the global.sx, so there we are having this function, get vary by custom string. So over here what I am doing is, I am checking for the values like I have specified over here, country access. So I am checking that value and checking for the argument also, what argument it is requesting. So every time the page will get access, this will be called internally. So what I am doing is, I am setting country equal to the value of country access, which is our GB, IN and US. Okay. So sometimes this context is getting a null value or something, so I have written some other function to return some value according to URI. So this is the main funda, like we have to use this one, get vary by custom string, to implement this If we open the page, there should be another attribute. Sorry. Vary by param none. As I have said, this is a mandatory field, and vary by custom equal to country. Clear? Okay, let's move ahead. So second thing is, this is all about the full page caching, and like what I have covered is we are under output caching over here. We are under the output caching. We have covered the full page caching. Now let's see what is partial or fragment caching. Like I have said, the partial caching or fragment caching is like we will be displaying the page to user, but some segments or some parts of the page will be cached. Okay. So what it tells is how we can achieve it. Oh, sorry. So this is the main. This user control, sorry. This user control and post cache substitution. So we are having two mechanisms to implement the fragment caching. So what it does is post cache substitution and user control. We already know what is the user control. It will just a part of the page, and we will just be attaching that user control to the page. And the substitution control, like we might have heard about add rotator. So what it does is, like whenever the page will get rendered, it will dynamically generate some add there according to whatever we have programmed. So there is some other controller which is substitution controller, this item. So this controller, if you put it, and there is some method in that controller which will be get executed every time, regardless of the page is getting page is cached or not. Okay. Shared attribute I will be demonstrating later on. Let's look into the substitution controller and fragment caching. I'm closing those up. So over here what I have done is I have created a page, and under that there is two controllers which are highlighted as light orange or yellow, and this is orange. Okay. So in this one I am showing the time there. So all of them are having same time. So it is cached at the same time only. So in this one what I have did is, like I will select no and do the processing. So see what will happen is, check out this time. So I have selected no and maybe. Maybe is having 5806, and if I select this one, it's having 1157, because I have chosen this one as a no previously. And if we see this time, so it is remaining as it is. Now what I have, this one is getting 5806 because I have clicked this maybe. So what is happening is, it is depending upon what I have chosen. So according to this control, there is yes, no and maybe. So it will make a 3 different copies of this. Like it will, have something for yes, no, and maybe. Okay. So let's see how we have implemented. So initially what I have done is I have created a controller, two user controls, which I am setting some time label fragment control 1 and date time now. This is about fragment control 1. So I am setting some color to just represent it. So in this one I am providing the duration 30 and vary by param, as we have seen with the other pages, full page caching. So same attributes should be used over here, but it will act in some different way, like fragment caching. So in other controller we are having output cache duration 50, vary by control here I have put, and I have specified ID of this radio button list. So what I am asking is change the cache according to my control selection. So if we are making this 3 different selection, it will just keep changing. Okay. And in the main page I am just using these 2 controllers and using this for the representing the page time. So this page time is getting always changed, but these 2 values are having dependency according to what we have chosen. Clear? Okay. So I was telling about the shared caching. Shared caching is like if we are having user control and let's say we want to share it across multiple pages. So how we can do that? So like if I am having user control, so it might be common to many pages, right? So we will make it shared, so shared cache, so that it will be, that case will be used on the multiple pages. Okay. So this is the page that I have created. Shared cache 1 and this one. So if we see the values of cache time, this time it got expired, I think. So this 2 will remain same. Okay. So what I have done is we just need to enable this shared keyword to true. Okay, shared attribute, and the shared is only available in the user controls only. It won't be available in the page level. Okay, and the other is substitution control. See, what is happening is my cache time, the whole page is getting cached at this time 12:3:25, but my substitution time is always changing. So how we have implemented is substitution. So there is some other specified control which is called substitution. So in this what we get a new one is like method name. We have to specify a method name there. And if we see the code behind, we are having the get time method which I have specified over here, and as a parameter it takes context, and this one will be always be a static method with string return type. So on this one I am just returning my date as a string. Okay, so we have got this fragment caching which works as usual with the page, but with the substitution we have some other process like what I have shown. Okay, this is all about the fragment caching. Like the text says that shared attribute is only available for user control for sharing cache across multiple pages. That I have already explained all of them. Okay, so let's go into the application or object caching. So it basically works as a key value pair. So while if we are doing the caching in the for the object, then we have to provide object and the key. So key will be your key to retrieve or save some data to the cache. Okay, so we can use it through system.web.caching assembly, and it depends basically on the HTTP context. So it works only with the context there. And what we are having over here is how we can add and insert it. I mean we can save it. So there we are having two functions, insert and add into the cache. Okay, so let's see the example. So in this example what I will be doing is I will be showing text. I will be just reading the text file and showing some information over here. Okay, so that would be done in three different ways. Like I will be showing the file dependency, and the other is absolute expiration, like it will have certain limit of time to expire the content, and third one would be the sliding expiration. So sliding expiration is something like if page is getting accessed means at regular interval of time, so that interval will keep increasing. Let's say I have put 10 seconds there. So in between 10 seconds I have accessed that page. So it will again increase to the 10 seconds. Okay. So this is the text file that I have created, and I will be reading this only. So on the code level what I have done is context that we always get in the websites. So context cache dot insert, and in this one I have passing the parameters as key name, object that need to be cached, and the other one is cache dependency. This is the other class that we will means cache dependency is like telling like whenever the file would be changed, the cache would be automatically removed. Okay, so let's see the example. It's not getting the cache time due to that view state thing. So I'm just modifying this text file, so it will come up. Let's see. So it got like whatever I have changed, I have added one dot over here. So it will, if I refresh, I will be getting this value only. And let's say if we again change this one and do the reload, so this will get me the new text, and the cache time cache will be again regenerated. So that is cache dependency. Let's see other one, that is absolute expiration. So in this method, in this one I am using add method over here. Okay, previously I had used insert. So these two methods are only present, and according to situation you have to choose which one is it. So if we go to the class level implementation, if we see the add method, it is having all those parameters in single function, and the other one is insert one. So it is having lot of parameters over here. So that is function overloading. It's means it just easier to manage it. So what is difference between these two is, it will return object over here whatever you have cached, and this is void. This is the only difference that we have. So I'm just building it. I'm providing some parameters over here, like cache dependency I've set as a null, absolute expiration time I've given, and I've said as no sliding expiration, which will restrict me to have a sliding expiration. Then the cache item priority by default means I've given as a default. So there are few things over here, like if we see if we put not removable, so it will always remain in the memory or whatever the caching mechanism you have used. So let's see now. I have put it as a 10 seconds. So it got 12:11, and if we change this one, and reload, oh, that expiration was done. Okay, so that is why it is getting the latest one. Let's change it again. What happened? Probably I haven't builded it. So if we change this one, so it is getting the old version. So after 10 seconds it will get expired. Okay, it changed now. So sliding expiration is like this one will I'm setting as no absolute expiration and in 5 seconds. So what will happen is, like it will always after, if page is getting accessed under 5 seconds, then it will slide up to the 10 seconds. So it will just keep increasing according to that. Okay, so I'm just skipping a few parts as we don't have much time over here. And so I have given example. I will be sharing this with you and you can give it a try. So that is all about the application object caching and this system runtime.caching that we have got with the 4.0 framework. Previously what we were using is this system.web.caching.cache, which comes from system.web. So what was the problem with it? Like if we are developing some WPF or Windows form, then we have to add a reference of the system.web, which is not good at all, as system web and the context is related to web part only. But with 4.0 they have introduced something system runtime dot caching. Okay, so it talks about all that, like we can use in .NET technologies, and it is based on the memory cache. Okay, so let's see the example. So as previous, what we were doing is we are changing this welcome message text. So on this one also we are having the same thing. We are depending upon this file path, and this is completely new, like we are defining the object cache, and by default there is a available memory cache from provided by .NET. So we are using that API, and this one is abstract class. Let me explain a bit more on this. This is abstract class which is having the object cache, and this one memory cache is derived from the object cache. So that means if we can create our own class, then it might work out. Okay, so I am using the default one, and in this one we are having file paths. So this is for what I am doing is creating a list of string. So I am going to specify the file path there to make the cache dependency, like we have done in the previous example. So there we are having the cache item policy, and we will be assigning host file change monitor under this policy. Okay, so it will make dependency with the file. So if the file is get changed, it will do the same thing that we have done with the cache dependency. So after all this, I am reading all these files, reading the file contents in this one, and setting the value in this cache, object cache. Okay, so in this one, this key, value, and the policy that we are creating. So over here we are having the cache dependency kind of thing through host file change monitor. Other thing we can have is absolute expiration there here also. So we can choose any approach. So it is almost similar to the previous API, but in this one we are getting just it's coming as a new version, and we can change it by override, implementing our own class. Okay. So for example, it will work with the previous, there won't be any difference. This custom cache provider, if I choose something like I have explained about the output caching, it saves into the memory. Like what will happen is, like if we are having different versions of the particular web page, then it will have multiple cache copies. So at the end, what will happen, if more and more page you have added, then the problem will arise with the memory. So it can get, memory could be low. So that is called a scavenging process. So what it does is, when memory get low, then IS will automatically remove some of the cache items. So by using custom cache provider, what we can do is, we can save some values in the DB, cloud, or files. Okay, so with custom implementation we can achieve by saving in those things. Like we might have known about the SSD. So in that we can directly save those files under cache, save those cache items to the hard drive. So it will just make faster. So there could be, this is my page or user control, there could be different cache providers. Okay, so according to page also we can change. Let's say if we are having some page we want to save in a memory, and in another page what we want to is to save in the file location. So we can achieve those also with multiple copies of cache provider, and through it we will get a function add, get, set and remove. So through this function we will be means implementing our functionalities. Let's look into this. So I have created a simple object, and this should be serializable as we are going to save in file location or some stream. So class should be serializable, and in this one what we are doing is we are implementing output cache provider. So as I have told you, like it will have add, get, remove and set. So what we are doing is we are just implementing this output cache provider as a file cache provider. So over here I have done all this logic. I will be sharing those things with you so that you can get. So I have implemented all those 4 functionalities, and after implementing all those things, what we need to do is we need to register over here. So what I'm doing is I am specifying output cache providers and adding the reference of what class I have created. So and then again I am naming it as a custom cache provider. So this will be registered like the name would be custom cache provider. Okay. Then let's see a small demo on this. I have to build it. Yeah, the other thing I am doing is I am saving all this in this location. Okay, this is the path where the cache should be stored. So this is my location which is empty. Now let's run the first one that we had initially checked. Oh, we have got the empty parameter there. So see, the time is 12:22:46 over here. Now if you see this item, so that we have got the exact match. So this is how it internally works. It will, if we are providing in memory, so whole text will be saved in memory only. So this way we can save the memory by using the custom provider. Okay, so it will do for the fragment caching like user controls also. So these are the things that I have talked about, like we can have file system, cloud, database or memory to save it. It depends upon us, and helpful under scavenging process, that is removing of cache when server memory is getting low. So that was my diagram, and then we come to the other techniques. like if we want to have something consistency with the caching mechanism, like we will write at single place and that would be common to 4 or 5 pages. So that we can do with the web configuration. Under web config we have to provide the some values. So this was the value output cache settings, this one, and the cache profiles. Under that we have to name it with whatever the value you want to give, and other things like what you need to how you need to cache. So I was using in some substitution control. So let me show you how it is being used. So in this situation we just need to provide cache profile and the name of it. So that's done. So if we are having the 4 or 5 pages, we can use this common cache profile and it would work out with all those. So other thing I was talking about the provider name, custom provider. So I was talking like on some pages we can use for we can use for some means if we have 3-4 providers. So according to page we can select what provider need to be gone through. So to implement it, and this was the reason which initially it was getting error. This was due to that, like I have commented some codes there. So see, you need to write logic for if you have a multiple provider, you need to write logic over here so that we can toggle between various provider names. Like I have for example I have took the output cache example, and if it will get the output cache example, it will implement the custom cache provider. Otherwise it will have the ASP.NET internal provider. So that is the default one which we will get through ASP.NET. Clear? So you can try with this one so that it will means it will create the file and you can check whether it's creating or not. Oh. Okay, we can carry on, otherwise I can talk like SQL cache dependency. All those practicals we have done now, so it's all about discussion. So SQL cache dependency, that I haven't talked about because it is having few limitations, like you cannot have the inner SQL and it will work with the simple statements only. So I'm skipping this part and I will be providing some links. If you want to go through it, you can go. Okay, like now we come to in caching consideration, like on which situation what need to be chosen. I'm not sure whether it is visible or not. It hanged. Oops. Okay, we can discuss with the question. Any doubts you are having? Let it come and then I will explain about it. Any doubts till now you are having? So this is the caching consideration. When to use full page caching, if page content changes after certain intervals. Let's say if whatever the logic you have written in the page and it gets new changes after certain interval. If let's say you are having daily reporting kind of thing, so it changes day wise. So you can implement like that. It will have a 24 hours and you can save in the file so that it will be less, it will be consuming less resources. So other is fragment caching. So in this situation, if the page is almost static but few contents are changing, so we should use fragment caching. Object caching, if you are having some entity framework or some processing, some process which is returning in the object and which is taking time, so we can consider the object caching. And cache dependency, as it means it only works with the file directory or based of other cache entries. Like if we are having if we have created cache and there we have put means the cache key would be present. So if you have created some cache which is dependent upon the some other cache, so we can implement this other cache entries. So that is cache dependency. And sliding and absolute, when to choose sliding and when to choose absolute. So we can choose sliding if data is not changed frequently, means if absolute expiration, if certain interval means on certain interval data is getting changed, so we should consider the absolute expiration. But if let's say some data is not getting changed and you want to save memory also, so in that situation we can use sliding expiration. Okay. So any questions or any suggestion? Okay, so we are done then. Thank you all. And please provide feedback, that would be important.